Hi everybody, I've wanted to make this rant video for so long now, and yesterday was the tipping point. On Facebook for a long time now, there have been bots or people that have posted false um, posts about musicians that have either died or been seriously ill, and it it has just gotten out of control, and all it is stupid AI, and I don't know what their aim is, to either get clickbait or to incite fear into people that love these musicians, or I don't know what it is, but the tipping point for me was that one of these stupid AI sites or pages on Facebook posted a picture of Neil Young collapsed on stage, and it said in the post, it said, Neil Young suddenly collapsed on stage or whatever during performance, and scared the audience and whatever. You know, he didn't. He's fine. He's fine, and but the whole point of me making this video is that you know, along with Neil, it's not only Neil, but they have put his family into the act, specifically his boys. And as you know, both of Neil's boys have cerebral palsy, as do I. And, you know, I think it is despicable for them to be used as quote unquote clickbait, because you know they they have there has been a couple posts where it says that Neil's son is the hearts go out to the Neil family, or the Young family, as they deal with heartache or whatever, and it's usually a picture of his son Ben, and I think that is despicable, and it is a mockery of people with disabilities. And the reason I take it so personally is because I have a disability too, and I wouldn't want to be mocked like that. I mean, I mean, these bots or whatever, or if it is indeed people that are running these people or bots don't give a flying fadoodle about what this is doing to not only the fans of these musicians or actors or whatever, but what it's if the family of these musicians or the musicians themselves know that this is going on, they don't give a flying fadoodle about the bots and the people that are doing this AI crap don't give a flying fadoodle about what it's doing to the musicians or their families. Because and another thing about Neil's kids. I mean, Neil took great pains to keep his kids, situations out of the press. Now he did, write songs about it, but he hardly ever. talked about his kids in interviews and stuff. Now he did talk extensively about him in books, but or in Shaky in his own two books, but that's different. I mean, but he very rarely, if at all, talked about his kids in interviews, and he took great pains into keeping their situations out of the press. And to me, AI, you know, AI is making a mockery of their situations. And one of the posts that made me livid, I mean livid to the point of wanting to punch the computer screen, is that they had a picture of Zeke, Neil's oldest son Zeke, in a wheelchair, and he doesn't even use a wheelchair. He's able to walk. And so if it's despicable that they got the wrong. Not only that they did this, but they got the wrong son. They got the wrong person. Yeah, I mean, and it's. Pardon me for saying this, but it's shit. It's just shit. And so if you I implore you, if you see any of these posts or any AI, just ignore it, because there's a lot of gullible people, and I'm not saying that any of my viewers are gullible, but there's a lot of gullible people out there that believe this crap, and none of it is true. And so if you see any of this crap, just ignore it, and don't. And and it's not only Neil, that has been the victim of this, but people say, I've seen several AI created posts that say the last ride, and it's a big concert tour with people like the Eagles and Willie Nelson and bands that don't even go together. I mean, and another thing that I'd like to mention is that a couple weeks back, Carole King posted on her verified page that to beware of an AI post that said, her and James Taylor were going to tour again, and she said it's not true. It's not. There's no tour booked or whatever. But and so I know, just by that alone, that the artists see this crap, and I applaud Carol for you know taking the reins and at least making everybody aware that this is not that tour was not going to happen. And so I just don't know what the attraction is for these people that make make these fake posts, and whether, like I said, it was to incite fear into fans of these musicians or whatever. And but I fear that this is the way we're going, with AI. And there's some good in it too. There's some good in it, because there's a lot. I use AI in video production when I edit videos sometimes, like when I need to remove a background from a picture. I use a site called Image Candy, which has a background removal tool. So there is some good there is some good about it, but the majority of it is is not good. I mean, and it's like I said, it's despicable. You know, and you know, and especially you know, in regards to Neil's, especially with me being a huge Neil fan, if something ever happened to him, I would be inconsolable to the point of having to um, be, I would be inconsolable. And so the the first time that I had seen any of these posts, some of them scared me to death before I bought into the fact it was AI crap. You know, and so and don't let and for those people that are fans of big, you know, giant fans of the musicians, you know, check your sources. Check the source before you react. Because 9 times out of 10, it is crap, and they're fine. Because I know Neil is fine. I would probably be the first to find out if he wasn't fine. But the whole point of this video, the whole point of me ranting about this is I'm sick of it. I just wanted to get that out, and I know that, you know, oh, and two, I was going to tell you, don't bother reporting it on Facebook, because 9 times out of 10, it won't work. They'll just continue to do it. Because I was talking to one of my friends in one of my Neil groups on Facebook, and he said that he had tried to report it, and the 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 address that he reported it to didn't. I mean, was a national Parks and Rec place, and they didn't know that they didn't know about this site, and that just proves to me that nobody is policing this crap. Nobody is policing this crap, and but I just wanted to get that out, and and what do you guys think of AI? What do you guys think of um, the AI in regards to uh, false information about musicians? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Achieved using iPicky.com.